Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and please welcome to our Operation Freedom platform, WeThePeopleProcessing.com. You know, are you tired of being threatened to be canceled just because you have a company focused on liberty and freedom? Well, worry no more, folks. WeThePeopleProcessing.com is your go-to merchant services, freedom-based company to provide business service payment solutions. We the People Processing provides their clients a cancel culture-free platform which is domestically based. They provide competitive rates, no contracts with next-day funding, a fully vetted and like-minded financial infrastructure, and full support for integrations, implementation, and e-commerce efforts. Bottom line, WeThePeopleProcessing.com focuses on defending your company's free market growth, values, and future. Check them out at www.WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Once you're on the site, enter in password Operation Freedom or call 855-499-2024. That's WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Then, when on the website, enter Operation Freedom as your password or call 855-499-2024.
Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you state
She's
categorically?
asking a question.
Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You are
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. You can join us on our radio show every Sunday live, and it's free from 2 to 5 Eastern. Just go to davejanda.com, hit the listen live button. It'll take you to Wham Talk 1600 streaming service. Hit play. You're with us. Great guests, great analysis, information you will never get through the bought-off lamestream fake media. We are also available 24/7 at davejanda.com. The title of today's presentation is After the Russia-Ukraine War, Money and Food Will Never Be Seen the Same Again. Look, one of the middle-level puppets of the globalist syndicate is Henry Kissinger. Oh, no, Dave, no, he's a high-level individual. No. The highest levels of the totalitarian thugs, the New World Order crowd, the deep state, are really the criminal international banking syndicate. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Lazards, the Pinkuses, the Warburgs, the Loebs, just to name a few. But the very top is a family called the Pacer family. I've talked about that before. They're the ones pulling the strings of the Schwabs from the World Economic Forum, the Soroses, the Obamas, the Clintons, the Bushes, the Romneys, the McConnells, the Ryans, the Pelosis, the 99.9% of people in Washington, D.C., and in capitals around the world. Right? They're all owned by this syndicate. But don't think that Schwab and Soros and these cats that I mentioned are the highest level. They're not. Which brings me back to the middle-level puppet Henry Kissinger. He made a statement that really encapsulates what the Russia-Ukraine war is about. Is it about turf? Yeah. But it's not so, look, is Putin a good guy? No. Bad guy, criminal, thug, murderer. Is Zelensky Churchill? No. Zelensky is not even a middle-level globalist thug. He's part of the World Economic Forum. And so, by the way, is Putin. It's just that Putin and Xi cut a side deal, which is why Soros and Schwab are so upset, because this is all about control of the monetary system after the war, their great reset. Okay? Schwab and Soros thought that they would get their puppets, Putin and Xi and Zelensky, to do this deal, this professional wrestling match that's killing innocent people and causing millions of people to be refugees. The real losers are the Ukrainian people, and it's actually people of the world, but in particular the poor Ukrainian people. while the globalists get more power and more control and more of their ever-precious moolah. No, you see, this is all planned, this entire event. And Soros and Schwab and all the rest of them thought, yeah, and we'll control this great reset that we keep talking about afterwards, where we get it all, and, the useless eaters, everybody else in the world gets nothing. But Putin and Xi decided to cut a side deal. So the concern is, from Schwab and Soros, hence the, aren't they bad? Because they feel they got double-crossed. Because Putin and Xi said, you know what, do you like these cats? I don't really like them. So why don't we control it? Because we're the ones with all the militaries and we're the one with all the resources, right? And this is what this war is all about. And Henry Kissinger crystallized this years ago in a statement he made. Now listen, and think about what's happening now. Listen, he told you what's coming. Listen. Quote, who controls the food supply controls the people. 30% of all grain products are produced from Ukraine and Russia combined. 17 to 20% is fertilizer. Okay? You start blocking their exports and you're going to create famine. Now, for you and me, that's terrible. For Africa, for the EU, for the Middle East that depend on Russia and Ukraine for the for you and me, we look at that, that's awful. The globalists are like, yeah, that's what we want. Because they're going to be eating fine. Kissinger, quote, who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control whole continents. What about those pipelines, right? We're going to shut down the pipeline. Who's going to lose in that? The European people who are going to, yeah. Putin, okay, I'll shut that one off, but I'm going to turn this on to my buddy Xi, who I cut that side deal with. There you go. Who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control whole continents. And who controls the money can control the world, end quote. Listen to what Kissinger was telling you. The syndicate, the totalitarian thugs, the deep state, the New World Order crowd, the criminal international banking syndicate, whatever you want to call them, they always telegraph what something is about. They're hoping if they figure it out, okay, good for them. But 99.9% of them won't. And that's what the independent media does, and this is why they despise all of us, because we expose this stuff. This is what Russia-Ukraine is all about. It's about food, and it's about money. And neither of them are going to be the same afterwards, because here is what is transpiring. On the food side, we've outlined it. Russia, okay, block our exports. We're just going to keep the grain. We're going to send it to the people in China. And she's like, yeah, bring it. That's why we cut this deal. Yeah, bring that. And bring the oil and bring the natural resources. We'll send you other natural resources and we'll be fine. MyShield products are EPA and FDA approved and are proven ready to help you, your family, and your community neutralize COVID, bacteria, viruses, spores, and fungi. The water-based alcohol-free hand sanitizer foam and disinfectants are safe for people, animals, and the environment. Application of the MyShield products has been confirmed by independent studies to provide persistent protection for 28 days on surfaces and for 4 hours on the skin with just one application with a very quick dry time. Check out MyShield products at OperationFreedomHealth.com. That's OperationFreedomHealth.com. Meanwhile, there's going to be huge problems as far as the food supply is concerned. In Africa, in the Middle East, and in the EU. It's going to be devastating. Food will never be the same after this. Prices around the world for food are skyrocketing. Why? Because fertilizer prices are up 30, 40, 50%, if not higher. That's going to cause what's called food insecurity. People think food security is about, well, make sure that you don't get food poisoning. Food security is how the distribution of food occurs in society so that hunger and famine do not occur in society. When the food prices go, food security goes down. And we think that's bad. The globalists think that's good because they're sipping their champagne and eating their caviar. Oh yeah, Joe Biden, he put a moratorium on vodka and caviar. When was the last time you had caviar? How about you? I haven't had it. I don't know. I think I was forced to eat it maybe 45 years ago. Once. Is that making a big dent about that blocking caviar for you? Yeah. Okay. Obviously for Joe it was important. Kamala, caviar to me. Pelosi, let them eat caviar. Food will never be the same. Not just prices, but availability after this war. And that's by design. Kissinger, food supply controls people. Energy will not be the same after this. Kissinger, who controls the energy, can control whole continents. Money is not going to be the same. No, it's not. Last week, 2 o'clock in the morning, my phone started, what the heck is going on at 2 o'clock in the morning? Got my phone and it was an announcement that the Russian finance ministry sees gold as an alternative to the U.S. dollar. Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, the Criminal International Banking Syndicate Fed, right? Fed, not part of the United States government. It's an independent entity. It's a cartel. They are not looking out for the welfare of the American people or the U.S. dollar. They are looking out for the benefit of one entity, the banks, okay? 12 hours after my phone blew up about what Russia announced about gold, Powell stated, quote, in front of Congress, quote, it's possible to have more than one reserve currency, end quote. Do you understand what he just said? Money is never going to be the same. He's telling you that the reserve currency status of the dollar is going. Now, you might say, I live in Iowa. I live here in Michigan. What difference does that make? A huge difference. The reason why the dollar is able to buy so much in the world market is because we're the world reserve currency. A big part of that is based on energy. In 1974, Henry Kissinger, the guy about, that quote, right? Hank, good old Hank, was out there, and he cut a deal when Nixon was president in 74 with the Saudis and the Middle East, saying, I'll tell you what, make your oil priced in only dollars. That'll create a huge demand for our dollars. And then and we'll give you protection. We'll use our military to protect you. And you price oil per barrel in dollars. And that way, every country that buys your oil will have to buy dollars first, create a demand for it. And then, after you get those dollars for your oil, to have protection, you are going to come in and buy our financial assets. You're going to buy our bonds. You're going to buy our treasury notes and bills because we have to go in debt to kind of, finance this whole thing, and put money in our stock market and in our companies. And you're going to do that. Yeah. And that's all falling apart. What happened recently? Biden put a call in to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates about pumping more oil and about this whole thing that's going on in Ukraine. And what happened? They refused to take Biden's call, but they were on the phone talking to Putin about oil deals. And they were on the phone talking to China about pricing their oil not in dollars, but in yuan. A big-time insider financial analyst said the following: when the, quote, when the war is over, money will never be seen the same again, end quote. And the same is true for food. Go back to that Kissinger quote. When the reserve currency of the dollar is removed, it will create enormous inflation in our country and around the world. Unless you happen to hold the next reserve currency. You see, I believe the next reserve currency is going to be gold and silver backed. That's where this is going. That's why that announcement out of Russia. That's why Powell's like, okay, well, I want to kind of get ahead of this bus, and there can be more than one reserve currency. No, that's never happened in the world before, but there's always transitions, and this is what we're facing right now, and the war is a catalyst for that transition. I believe we're one communique away, a joint communique from Russia and China saying that they're going to back the ruble and yuan in gold and silver. And that oil is going to be priced in ounces of gold. You need to protect yourself, because this is going to be an enormous change. Money will never be seen again the same way. Your dollar will be depreciated. And in times like this, the best insurance policy has been physical gold, not paper, physical gold and physical silver. Okay? It's that simple. Because this is going to be a commodity-based reserve currency. Right now, the dollar is not backed by anything. Remember, on August 13th, 1971, Richard Nixon removed the gold backing of the dollar. Initially, the dollar was backed by gold, and then it wasn't. And we've been living on borrowed time as far as the reserve currency since 1971, when Nixon did that. One more time, Henry Kissinger. Quote, who controls the food supply controls the people. Who controls the energy can control whole continents. Who controls money can control the world. End quote. What happens and what has been happening in this Russia-Ukraine war is 100% about that quote. You've been warned. Protect yourself. I thank you for your time today. We go into much further depth that I cannot go into on this platform at davejanda.com. Extra shows, extra content, extra guests, extra analysis, archives to all of our shows. It's 30 cents a day. Try it for a month. $9. If you don't like it, get rid of it. But I'm not sure why. Because the people that have been subscribers to our platform are very well protected and years ahead of the curve on all of this. I thank you for your time today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.